Good evening. This is my Module 5 discussion. What are the mental health implications for youth victimized by online child predators? Are there enough resources available in your community to help kids and their family above and beyond the standard outpatient counseling? So in Chapter 6 of Cure on Empower, most of the youth deals pretty well with predation online, with 2/3 of the youth removing themselves from the situations or leaving their website or computer or just blocking the offenders or predators. 66% of the youth reported that they weren't really upset or frightened by predators approaching them online, but the other percentage did feel frightened or upset, especially when efforts were made to meet offline. Some youth reported symptoms of stress or avoiding websites or apps. They just were constantly thinking about the incident, being irritable or agitated or embarrassed. And I think that embarrassment is a huge topic to kind of hit on, because I think if a child doesn't feel like, or even an adolescent, if they don't feel like they have an adult that they are comfortable enough talking to about these situations because they don't want to get in trouble, or maybe they started having sexual conversations online with an individual and didn't realize the implications or the consequences towards it, then they could feel like they don't want to come forward, which could cause a lot more stress on the child. So I think that embarrassment is something that definitely needs to be hit on. And when it comes to prevention methods and educational strategies for the youth, especially like when it comes to parents talking to their kids, I think that letting them know that it's a safe space is a huge, huge thing. And some of the resources that I found were the Virginia Victims Fund. But I kind of saw some limitations in that. The criteria is the victim must cooperate with law enforcement agencies and the courts. The victim was not involved in illegal activity which caused the crime and didn't provoke or willingly take part in crime. Like I said, a child could have, started having sexual conversation online and realized, okay, like this is wrong. I'm scared. I'm uncomfortable. And if they are embarrassed or not willing to cooperate and they don't get the resources, I just kind of feel like that it's hard. I think that's pretty harsh when dealing with adolescents and children. The second resource that I found was the Virginia Department of Social Services. Child Protective Services collaborates with existing networks. Excuse me. And they have like prevention programs to provide for child abuse or neglection. And they provide it to families throughout Virginia. However, I just don't think that there are enough resources for child predation or child pornography, things like victims of certain situations like that in the area. I just don't think there are a substantial amount of resources, and I think there needs to be a lot more, prevention methods. For children alone, like I think that, one of our most recent assignments this week is coming up with an educational program for schools. I think that would be extremely helpful for children alone to go through a program in school, and then as well having a parental workshop as well, because I think that it's kind of multiple ways to go about these prevention methods and just educational stuff. I think sometimes when a parent is presented with these huge issues, they might feel like out of fear they want to protect their child from this, so they're just going to withhold certain truths. But I think sometimes a child needs to know, they need to be aware of certain consequences. But it comes with different age ranges, and yeah, that's my discussion.